Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and for the last week I've been driving the 2025 Lexus TX350. Up front is a 2.4 liter turbocharged inline 4, and down below is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be making this video because I always enjoy spending a week behind the wheel of a Lexus. However, I have to say that it hasn't really lived up to my expectations, and I'm very interested in telling you why that is. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you'd like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month. But let's get back to that 2.4 liter turbo under the hood, and that is where the problems start. It is not very powerful, and in this large 3-row SUV, this feels very underpowered. Now, I will say, there are other drivetrain offerings for the Lexus TX. They offer this with a hybrid, and they offer it up at the tippy top with a hybrid and the 3.5 liter V6. I would 100% get the V6 version over this 4-cylinder. Driving it around town, to get it to really do anything, you have to really beg it to get up to speed. You put your foot down and not much happens. And I've always said this with relationships, but also 3-row SUVs, if you have to beg and plead, it's probably not a right fit. Now, I love the 3.5 liter V6 that is going away from the Lexus lineup. And since this is the same engine as the Toyota Grand Highlander that this shares a platform with, I feel like the Lexus should get the V6 as standard. It has a more premium driving experience. Now, like I mentioned, the 3.5 liter is available with the hybrid up at the TX550H+. However, that then bumps you into the $80,000 range, and this is already $70,000. So it leaves the TX in an interesting space, because up at $80,000, I would much rather have a Volvo XC90, or possibly a vehicle from a German manufacturer like Audi or BMW. So if you do want that V6, it is available. You're just going to pay a pretty penny for it. Like I said, paired to it is an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, I'm actually pretty happy to see this. I think it works well, does the job. No complaints. And last but not least, this TX is all-wheel drive. However, you can find base model TXs in 2-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the Lexus TX350? Well, the suspension is nice. It has a cushier ride than what you would find in the Grand Highlander, although not by much, but marginally better. Visibility is okay. This is a very big SUV, so out the back is not great. However, you do have a digital rear view mirror that helps out. And like I said, that power is just not there. It feels like such a lug with that power up front. So, something to note, and my personal opinion. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior, because I'm not sure our problems stop there. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. Now, this goes for all Lexus and Toyota products. I think that it's a little bit busy. There's a lot going on. There's quite a few colors in here. However, I think it is relatively simple compared to maybe some of its competitors, so it's fine. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have some customizable selectors, volume, page icon, and off to the right, we have more customizable selectors, cruise control, and more pages. Again, I don't really like these steering wheel buttons because of their haptic feedback. You have to hover your finger over it before you can select anything. So if I want to skip a song, I have to hover my finger, then I can press it. Just an added step that didn't need to be there, but the overall steering wheel feels nice, and we do have paddle shifters around the back. Off to the left, we do have 2 climate vents, as well as our odometer and trip reset, gauge dimmer switch, fuel door release, tailgate release, and our memory seats. We have 3 memory seats, which is very nice to see. Moving on to the door, we do have our Mark Levinson speaker, as well as our power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. The Mark Levinson speaker is definitely a big reason to upgrade over the Grand Highlander to the TX. In the center, we get our giant infotainment display. Although it's not just information entertainment, it is also climate controls. So again, Lexus is moving towards digital digital climate controls. We have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, something that GM is getting rid of in their EVs. Built-in navigation, things like that. You can mess around with the settings for the Mark Levinson sound system. I like the overall display. It's relatively easy to use. I like that it has Apple CarPlay. And honestly, in my time with it, it hasn't been laggy. That's usually why I dislike climate controls being in the screen, is that they could sometimes be laggy like they are in the Ford Mustang. This hasn't been laggy yet, so I like that a lot. We do get dual zone climate, fan speed, heated and ventilated seats, as well as a heated steering wheel. Down below, we get our hazard switch and 2 climate control vents. We get 3 USB-Cs, as well as our parking assist and camera view button. A wireless charger that then opens up to a larger compartment for storage and a 12-volt outlet. And then moving into the center, off to the left, we have our traditional, or now traditional, Lexus shifter. This originally started in the Prius in the 2000s, but has migrated to the Lexus brand. Down below, we have the power holding brake, power parking brake, auto start stop on and off, hill descent control, our off-road terrain mode, and traction control off. Off to the right, we do have cup holders, so we'll do a big friggin' bottle test, and unfortunately it fails. The cup holders are very awkwardly square. However, they do have an interesting feature where you can remove them and they click back into place. So if you only want one cup holder, you could throw the other one out or things like that. I like when cars have modular features, but unfortunately that modular feature does not incorporate my big friggin' bottle. Then we do have a pretty deep center console that's really good at holding $1,720. And the seats are really nice. They are ventilated, heated, power, memory, pretty much anything you could want out of a semi-average luxury seat. They've been comfortable over the mileage that I've done in this vehicle, and I like them a lot. They have this nice premium feeling. I like the mix of materials on the seat as well, so that gets a big thumbs up. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats. 2 more rows, in fact. So let's go do some backseat reviews. All right, so we're in the second row of the Lexus TX350, and things are very good back here. First of all, knee room great, headroom great. I'm 5'11", not a small guy. I fit very comfortably in this second row. Now, do we have adjustments? We do, so I could scoot all the way up to touch the front seat, or I could scoot it back. This is about as far back as I could comfortably go, and I have plenty of space. But I also have my own fan speed back here, temperature, heated, and ventilated seats. I know I say this all the time. I recently, 2 weeks ago, had a Rolls-Royce Cullinan, a $500,000 Rolls-Royce that did not have rear ventilated seats. This $70,000 Lexus does. That's quite the bargain. 2 USB-Cs down there, as well as more unlockable cup holders here in the center. There we go, lock that back in place. We do get this little center console that I can actually lift up. Oh, and I can actually lift up and remove. Whoops, all right. There we go. So the second row is very nice, but let's talk about the third, which I have to put up. So button here. Okay, so that scoots it up. And then, if I go around the back, I'll lift them up from the back just to show the power option. Pardon me. All right, so there we go. One touch. It appears I can only do one at a time. Waiting. All right, do the other side. One touch. Waiting. I mean, since I don't have to do it, it's not that big of a deal that it takes a little while. Third row up. So I can close this, come back around, and now get inside. Even this third row has these 2 different materials for the seat. So very premium feeling back seat. There we go. There we go. Again, 5'11", not a small guy. I fit back here pretty well. Would I love to spend a cross-country road trip back here? Maybe not, but I do have cup holders. I have USB-C and speakers on either side. There's only 2 seats back here, something to note. It's not a 3-row bench in the very back. But I'm a big dude, and I fit back here. Like, that is a huge accomplishment. Now, Toyota and Lexus said when they gave us our briefing of this, I was at the grand unveiling of the Grand Highlander, that their main focus was that third row over the Highlander or over the outgoing Lexus 3-row. So I say that they achieved it very well. If you are looking for a 3-row SUV with that Lexus badge, this is going to be pretty good. I'm a big guy, so odds are you're gonna fit back here too, which is very nice to see. I also do have a button over here that I can incline and decline the seat, so I can lean it back. I can lean it back pretty far. We'll leave it about even with that seat. So tons of features and tons of things to love in the very third row. But let's now hop into the very back and take a quick look at the trunk and cargo space. Button here. There we go. Nice and easy. Love that. All right, we're on the back of the Lexus TX350. Single button in there and a power operated tailgate. Once we are back here, nothing really too crazy. We do get a 12-volt outlet down here. Love to see that. I always look for that in those vehicles. And here are our power operations for that third row. Will it automatically do the headrest? It will. There we go. Sometimes they don't automatically do the headrest, which is fine. I'm not complaining, but something to note that it's actually very nice that it does have that. So one touch right back up. But overall, you do get some space down here. Pull this up, a little bit of storage space, but that's pretty much it. Love to see all that. Push the carpet back down. There we go. Very nice cargo space. Along with that third row, we have our tailgate button here for just the tailgate or tailgate and locking. There we go. Nice, smooth, calm, quiet, collected. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and I do think that the TX is relatively handsome. It does fit into the Lexus lineup very, very well. It does look like a Lexus RX that had a big lunch, and that's no surprise. The previous generation RX basically was the experiment for the TX. They had the RXL, which was a larger 3-row RX, and it didn't sell all that well. Only lasted a few model years. I happened to review one when they came out. I didn't know it was going to go away so soon, so here's some footage of that. So I think that this actually fits pretty well into Lexus's lineup. It looks like one of the family, and that's all I can ask for from a modern vehicle. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Lexus TX 350 for the last, well, I have to say, I am a huge Lexus lover. I love a lot of their products. My favorite vehicle that I've ever gotten as a press loan is the Lexus LC500. I've had 3 of them, and I'm preparing for my 4th later this month. I think Lexus does a lot of things really well. If you want reliability along with luxury, there's no better option on the market. However, I do think that this particular TX is a little bit of a miss. Like I said, I wish I had that bigger engine, but not at a $10,000 jump. If this had the V6 at $65,000, this would be a steal, a runaway slam dunk for me. But it doesn't. The TX550H Plus starts at $80,000. And I just think that once it gets up into that stratosphere, there's a lot of other competition that I might lean towards. Now, if you are thinking about getting a Grand Highlander, you are set on buying a Toyota Grand Highlander, which is a great vehicle. I like that vehicle. But you want a little bit extra build quality. You want a little bit extra nicer materials. Take a look at the dash. It has this nice material insert on it. I don't remember if it's suede or Alcantara, but one of the two. I don't have it in front of me. But it has this nice material. The Mark Levinson, well worth the jump up to the Lexus brand. The seating in here, the light, the sunroof, everything in here. This is just a Grand Highlander, but nicer. In that regard, I like it. But do you get a fully luxury experience? Not with that drivetrain. Unfortunately, not with that drivetrain. So I love Lexus. I will always love Toyota and Lexus, but I do think that this was just a little bit of a stumble on a long walk home. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Lexus for letting me borrow their TX for the last week to try it out. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle, and of course, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.